Hi, this is Ike from IkesOutdoors.com. Today we're going to be doing a product review on the anchor sight. What this is, it's this little thing right here. And what this does is it mounts up behind your sight. You can see I've got it here on my Athens. I've got mine mounted up high, but there's several different variations on where you can mount this, and we'll cover that real briefly in this video. And what this thing does is it eliminates your need for peep sight. You can see inside here, let me get this thing lined up, you can see the red circle in the front, you can see the crosshairs in the back, and there's a black dot right in the middle of those crosshairs. Now when you get this thing set up, and I'm not going to cover installation on this thing, but real briefly, the instructions that come with it are real clear, real concise, and they'll have you shooting this thing just fine in just a matter of a little bit of time if you follow the directions. But what this thing does is when it's mounted on your bow like this, and you get it all set up and you get the installation all complete, what this is going to do is going to allow you to come back to the same anchoring spot every time. And if you're not in the same anchoring spot, your red circle and your crosshairs, that black dot and that crosshairs, aren't going to line up. So when you got that on your bow, you can completely eliminate your peep sight. And there are a ton of advantages to that. One of the things that you're going to gain by eliminating your peep sight is you're going to gain a little bit of speed on your bow. You're not going to have that dragging your speed down because you're going to have a little less weight on your string. Another advantage that I found with this thing is you got an open, clear field of view now. You're no longer looking through an 1/8 inch hole or 3/16 hole or however big your peep sight was. Also found it to be very quick. I could pull back right and hit that same anchoring spot every time, and just with one little quick check, I could make my adjustments, and I could quickly anchor in the same spot every time. Another advantage of this thing that the anchor sight has is it's no longer going to have to worry about your string twisting, your peep sight being in an exact same spot. It's going to allow you to anchor in a spot that's more natural for you. I've had problems with this in the past where you get these peeps that have to rotate around, and you can't quite get them in a spot you want to get because they're not rotating correctly. You got to put your string loop to the side to pull them over when you're pulling, and it's just kind of a pain in the butt sometimes. So this will allow you to come to your natural anchoring spot. And for me, it actually changed. My anchoring spot actually changed a little bit because I was able to get more comfortable. I shot a recurve and shot traditional no sights for a long time, and I like to pull back right to the corner of my mouth when I did that. And it's what was comfortable for me. But because of different peep sights I've used, I had to change my anchoring spot a little bit. This allowed me to come back to a nice natural anchoring spot, which for me is right here behind my ear. So I was able to find the anchoring spot that's comfortable for me. Now another advantage that you're going to find with this anchor sight is it's going to show you some flaws in your form. If you're torquing your bow and you get this pulled back and you come to that natural position, if you're torquing the bow, this is going to show you that you're torquing the bow. I actually realized that I had a bad torque issue and didn't see it until I started using this anchor sight. When I relaxed my hand, everything was lined up just fine, but when I closed my hand and started into my shot process, I was actually gripping the bow and torquing it to the right. So I could see I'd be lined up, and then all of a sudden that black dot would veer out. And if I relaxed my hand, it'd come right back to where it was. So it's going to show you some flaws in your form. It's going to show you if you're torquing that bow every time, and it's going to show you if you're coming back to the exact same anchoring spot every time. For me, the biggest advantage that this has is the open field of view. I've had several incidences in the past when it comes to deer hunting that I've been able to see the deer and I've been able to see my sight pin, but whenever I settle in with my peep sight, everything turns into a black blob because there's not enough light in there, and I've had to pass on those deer. And the one this year I had to pass on, I worked really hard for that, and it was a nice big mature doe that I really wanted to harvest, and when I settled my pin on her, I just couldn't see her, and I couldn't see where I was actually going to hit her. So in order to make a good humane kill, I didn't take the shot because I couldn't tell if I was going to gut shoot her, if I was shooting high, shooting low, so I had to let her walk. And I put a lot of time in trying to harvest this doe, so it was a real disappointment to not be able to take the shot at that time. So it's going to give you that. You're going to be able to see everything around you. You're going to be able to see what's going on, and you're not going to have to look through that small opening every time. Now, set up an installation of this thing. It's really easy. It took me about an hour to really fine tune it in and get it exactly right. But once I got it set up, or once I started with it and followed the directions, it was real easy to set up. You can see I got mine set up high because I have a high anchoring spot. So what I did was basically I set it up high like this, so it wasn't in my field of view when it came to my sights. It wasn't interfering with my sight pins. And I basically set it up high like that and just did a little bit of tilting. Tilted it down, tilted it up. I can't remember what I did, but I worked with it just a little bit and got that crosshair almost lined up perfectly. And then this has micro adjustments on it, and it's going to cover all this in the directions. It's got a micro adjustment here and a micro adjustment on the back side. And once I got it close, I was able to use those and just pull that in and get everything lined up perfectly. And once I got that all set up, is just go to town and start shooting. Now, one adjustment that I did do a little bit of experiment with was this back piece here. You can see that this thing, you pop this this bolt here on the side loose, and you can screw this thing in and you can screw this thing out. And what that's going to do is going to make that black dot in there bigger and smaller. And what that's going to do, if it's too small, it's going to allow you slop. It's going to allow you to move around. If it's too big, you're not going to be able to tell exactly where you're at, and it's going to allow you some slop there. So you want it, that black dot, you can see the red dot in red circle in the middle there. You want that black dot to just fill that red dot up with just a little bit of that cream, that kind of yellow color behind it, around your black dot in the center of your bullseye. Once you get that set, there's no room for error there. Now you can pull that back, and once you get that set up, you're good. You're in your exact anchoring spot every time. Okay, so this has been the anchor sight from Archery Innovations. Their website is archeryinnovations.com. A lot of different ways to set this thing up. Like I said, you can set it up high like I've got mine. It'll set up low. It'll set up on the back side too if you want it on the back side. Advantages to this thing are numerous. I mean, like I said, the biggest advantage that I've found with it is the open field of view. I love that. I love being able to eliminate my peep sight. It's going to make your bow a little bit faster because you're not going to have that peep on your string anymore, so it's going to make your bow a little bit faster. It's going to allow you to settle in quickly, and it's going to give you a good consistent anchoring spot every time, and it's also going to allow you to come to a more natural anchoring spot. I really like this thing, and I don't see me shooting without this thing again. I cannot see me going back to the peep sight. To me, the peep sight was a handicap, and it was hurting me, and it actually ended up costing me a couple deer. This thing in the low light situations is going to be a really nice product to have in that. And I've also found another advantage to this with a little bit of work. Suggestions from Archery Innovations, suggestions from Anchor Sight. I actually took some of my pins and lowered them all the way down and just left my 20-yard pin. And with just a little bit of adjustment, just by dropping my anchoring point a little bit, I was able to use that 20-yard pin to shoot out to 30 yards. And what I did was I had a point of reference. All I did was, with just a little bit of work, I moved back to 30 yards and I took my 20-yard sight pin and I came to my natural anchoring spot, and then I just moved my anchor down just a little bit. And now I've got a point of reference. All I did was this red dot in the center. I took my black dot and moved my anchoring point down until that black dot was just barely touching the top of that red circle, the very top outside edge, and I started shooting. And I was able to use my 20-yard sight pin to accurately and reliably shoot at 30 yards. I was able to consistently put it in there. It gives me a point of reference, like I said, that I can repeat, and that is a very nice feature. It takes a little bit of work, just a little bit of trial and error, a little bit of time, and you can use your 20-yard sight pin out to 30 yards. Now, I tried that at 40 yards, and it was just a little bit too much of a movement, so what I did there was I sighted a 40-yard sight pin in, and then I could shoot that 40-yard sight pin out to 50 yards. So a little bit of work, you can eliminate a lot of pins in there and still have a reliable, consistent sight. I got a 20 to 30 yard sight pin now, and I've got a 40 to 50 yard sight pin. So with two sight pins that got good gaps in between them, so they're not all clustered up, I can shoot out to 50 yards. So definitely give this anchor sight a try. A lot of good advantages to this thing, and so far I've yet to find a disadvantage to it. If you spend a little bit of time get this thing set up and get it accurate, you're going to be right there and you're going to be in the money. Like I said, it's just a really good product. It really has helped me out quite a bit, and I cannot see me going back to a peep sight now that I've shot this thing. Easy to set up, good clear directions. Very good, very good product here. Really like it. Big thumbs up from IkesOutdoors.com. I will definitely be using this thing. You can watch my future videos, and you're going to see this on every bow that I shoot. If I don't break it. And that shows how tough it is. So check it out, archeryinnovations.com, the anchor site. Big thumbs up from IkesOutdoors.com. Be sure to visit our website, www.IkesOutdoors.com, for more product reviews, how-to videos. Be sure to sign up for our newsletter where we talk about these products in a little bit more in depth and talk about what we've got coming up as far as reviews. Archeryinnovations.com. This is the anchor site. My website's IkesOutdoors.com. Appreciate you watching.